Kia ora and welcome to our Super Smash Scout Finals preview. The elimination finals will be played on Friday, and then we have the grand finals on Saturday. This, as always, with the Super Smash Scout, we're just trying to focus on the emerging players and not necessarily the best players, but the two might overlap. Do have a basic wrap up of all the major stats, a few All-Stars teams, All-Stars, Emerging All-Stars, men and women on our website, thenichecache.com, so you can read about that if you want. Otherwise, we're just here to talk through some of my favorite players and especially the youngsters' emerging talent. Let's start with the women's Super Smash elimination final. We got Northern Brave and Auckland Hearts. The funkiest thing here for me are the seam bowling units, because Auckland, they got Molly Penfold, who's been bowling really well, 14 wickets at an average of 13. They've also got Bree Illings, 6 wickets at an average of 29. They are both White Ferns seamers. Molly Penfold's one of the fastest bowlers in Aotearoa. Bree Illings pretty quick as well, but she's a lefty who swings the ball. They both get good bounce. So you got two White Ferns certified seamers, and they will be coming up against Marama Downs, leading wicket taker for the Northern Brave, 15 wickets at an average of 11, and Kayley Knight, 10 wickets at an average of 17. Kayley Knight's pretty quick, but she also moves the ball, and we've also seen some very impressive batting from Kayley Knight, 83 runs, strike rate of 130, which is one of the highest strike rates for Northern Brave. Shout out Marama Downs, she hit the winning runs a few days ago against Auckland as well. So those two seamers for both teams are going to be very interesting as a matchup. You got the White Ferns seamers, Molly Penfold and Bree Illing, who are at the start of their White Ferns careers. But Marama Downs and Kayley Knight are excellent seamers on the rise as well. Marama Downs consistently takes wickets with her seam movement. A lot of bolds, a lot of LBWs, and you'll see a few times batters charging at Marama Downs, which seems a bit ridiculous because she's always going to nibble the ball off the seam and it goes past the bat and you get stumped. Of course, there's other good bowlers in these two teams as well. I don't think we'll see Lucy Boucher play. I'd love to see her in this Northern first 11, but she hasn't been. She's been 12th lady for the last few games, I believe, with Sky Bowden in the team. Sky Bowden's a really good batter, all-round cricketer who hasn't taken a wicket yet, but she is really good at cricket, so I'm not too worried there. And Auckland, you got Josie Penfold, who bowls pretty fast as well. She's got 8 wickets at 18. And Amy Hucker's a really good cricketer, very similar cricketer to Sky Bowden. She's got 6 wickets, averaging 28. So generally, the two seam attacks in this game are going to be very interesting to watch. Both teams have really good veteran batters, like Auckland, Brooke Halliday, Maddie Green are the leaders there. And Northern, Jess Watkin is one of the biggest hitters in Aotearoa, also a very good spinner with Nancy Patel. They are very good all-rounders for Northern, but Northern also have Caitlin Gurry, who's just straight up and down one of the best batters in Aotearoa, who probably won't play for the White Ferns again, but she has the talent. She should be in the White Ferns if we're selecting the best cricketers from Aotearoa, but they haven't signalled any selection for Caitlin Gurry. Just quietly, I'm curious about Jess Watkin because I think she can add to the White Ferns. She's got the power the White Ferns need. She's a good spin bowler. She's a smart tactician, and she's been around some fringe White Ferns activities. She's always in the North-South series. She's always available for second tier kind of White Ferns cricket. And she's the biggest hitter in Aotearoa. So I would love to see Jess Watkin get another crack at that level, but the White Ferns are just doing their own thing, so don't know if that's going to go down that way. But between Caitlin Gurry, Jess Watkin, Nancy Patel, you've got really good cricketers there. Two youngsters, Natasha Wakelin and Eve Walland, have both scored over 100 runs with strike rates over 100 as well. They've both hit a 6. They've both got a 50. So watch out for Eve Walland and Natasha Wakelin. I think they're 21, 20 years old, maybe 19 years old. So a couple young batters there. Auckland, aside from Brooke Halliday and Maddie Green, Izzy Gaze is in good form. She is in the White Ferns group as a wicketkeeper batter. She's got 350s. She's the only Auckland batter with 350s, and no Northern batter has more than 150. I think Polly Ingalls is a better wicketkeeper than Izzy Gaze, to be honest. I think Northern's Holly Top, you got CD with Kate Gaging. I think they're really good wicketkeepers as well, who could, if they're not better wicketkeepers right now, they could become better wicketkeepers. But Izzy Gaze is a really good hitter. She's a really good batter. She's got 209 runs, averaging 26, strike rate of 119, which is higher strike rate than Maddie Green, higher strike rate than Brooke Halliday. And Izzy Gaze, I think of her more as a batter, but she's a decent wicketkeeper. And I'm still curious about a White Ferns team with Izzy Gaze and Polly Ingalls in the same team, because I think as batters they should both be in the mix for the White Ferns, just straight up for their batting. But also Polly Ingalls is the better wicketkeeper, so I'd select her as the wicketkeeper, and you can still have Izzy Gaze top of the order, smacking some boundaries. Excuse me. Katene is also a pretty good batter, but she's got a lower strike rate and is a bit inconsistent, but she might have a knock, and she's a decent batter to watch out for on the rise in Aotearoa. Wellington are already in the grand final. They've locked that up, and they are the dynastic Super Smash team. They have a Super Smash dynasty, and I haven't gone deep into this yet, but I'm curious how it looks for the Wellington Blaze winning Super Smash without Sophie Devine, without Amelia Kerr in their finals teams. I feel like they've won a few Super Smash championships without those two, and this is another opportunity for them to showcase their talent and depth without the T20 jobbers. Of course, the Wellington Blaze may get some imports back because they've had Maitland Brown and Elise Perry from Australia, so they might sneak back in, and obviously they were pretty damn good. Aside from Perry, Brown, Amelia Kerr, Georgia Plymmer's got the most runs there, and she is basically a first 11 White Ferns player, so I'll be looking at her just to lead this Wellington batting unit, along with Jess Kerr, who's an excellent all-rounder, good runs, and one of their leading wicket takers. Wellington Blaze have Jess Kerr and Xara Jetly. I think they've got 14 wickets in both competitions, Super Smash and HBJ Shield. And they're the leading wicket takers, along with Elizabeth Kaur, central spinner who hasn't played Super Smash. They are the leading wicket takers in HBJ Shield, and they're both on 14 wickets as Wellington's leading wicket takers in the Super Smash. Xara Jetly, with the way the White Ferns spin situation is right now, I think Xara Jetly should be in White Ferns squads moving forward, because she is the best spinner in Aotearoa. And going back to Auckland, I didn't mention Bella Armstrong, who has had a fantastic season bowling spin, having usually been a seamer before this. She is second for Auckland wickets, 10 wickets at 5.7 RPO, and she's a good batter. So that's the profile of player I think that goes well with the White Ferns. But in this equation, someone like Bella Armstrong, I've got her behind Xara Jetly, and Xara Jetly for me is behind Flora Devonshire, who has been a very good cricketer, along with Emma McLeod for the Central Hinds. Basically, wrap it up, Xara Jetly and Jess Kerr are having fantastic seasons with bat and ball for Wellington. Xara Jetly is scoring a lot of runs, more runs than usual. She's batting up the order, but she's got a slower strike rate, 98, whereas Jess Kerr's around 120, but that's just kind of their roles. Other good young cricketers in this Wellington team, Hannah Francis took a few wickets in their most recent game, watch out for her, and she is another player with batting potential, but she's only got 75 runs, strike rate of 95 in her 6 innings so far. But there's a chance that Hannah Francis might just come out with runs in this final and a really good all-round performance, so watch out for that. Jess Simmons is a heavy ball bowler and also smashes it around. She's got 54 runs at a strike rate of 138. Nicole Beard's a very good lefty spinner. Doesn't really have that White Ferns upside, but Jess Simmons could sneak into a White Ferns squad moving forward as part of the very big group of seamers on the rise in Aotearoa, especially if she's smashing boundaries. Like, that's going to be a factor. And I also like the work of Sam McKinder. She's only batted 4 times. She's only played 4 games. She's got 38 runs, strike rate of 127. That's a higher strike rate than Jess Kerr, higher strike rate than Georgia Plummer. Batting down the order, she doesn't bowl and she bats down the order, but she's just impressed me a wee bit. So look for some quiet runs from Sam McKinder, because she has shown that she can score 10 off 5, 15 off 10, those type of scores. And I think that's going to be very useful moving into Super Smash finals. So I would highlight Sam McKinder as someone to watch out for. Let's go to the men's elimination final, Auckland versus Canterbury. Auckland have so many different contributors. Dale Phillips is a very good all-format batter for Auckland. I think he had a very good score. Can't remember off the top of my head, in South Africa for New Zealand A. Smashes it across all formats, but he's also got that first-class kind of Glenn Phillips alignment, slower batting in the Plunket Shield. He's second for runs with Auckland. 269 runs, a strike rate of 159. He's got 250s. He's the only player aside from Bevan Jacobs who has multiple 50-plus scores. Dale Phillips needs to be on the Black Caps radar because he's just a good opening batter who can play the opening role across all 3 formats. I got 2 favourite Auckland players though, Lachlan Stackpole and Angus Olliver. Lachlan Stackpole, he's leading the Plunket Shield for 6s, and he's got more 6s than 4s in the Super Smash. 12 6s, 9 6s, 9 4s. So that means that Lachlan Stackpole has more 6s in the Plunket Shield than Bevan Jacobs. And the way this dude hits 6s as a lefty is so casual, it's so effortless. And if Auckland are going to win this game, watch out for Lachlan Stackpole. Also watch out for Angus Olliver. He is second for Auckland wickets, 12 wickets at an average of 22. He's had a fantastic start to his T20 career. His effort, his enthusiasm, team first mentality, and just how vibrant Angus Olliver is fun for the Super Smash. It's fun for Auckland, but Angus Olliver smells like the exact player who will appear for the Black Caps very soon. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. He's probably got to build out into the other formats, but his character and how he's performed in T20 cricket has made me think about Angus Olliver as a Black Caps cricketer. Seems to be bowling quick enough. Him and Harjot Johal, because Harjot Johal is the leading wicket taker for Auckland, 15 wickets, averaging 16. They seem to be bowling quicker than many would assume. Good change-ups, good slower balls, bounces, nibble. And as I said in the big podcast on Tuesday, Auckland won against Central, defending a big score, but it was Eden Park out Oval, with a bowling attack. Like, that Central batting lineup was, Dane Cleaver, Will Young, Dean Foxcroft, Josh Clarkson, Tom Bruce. And the Auckland bowling unit was Harjot Johal, Angus Olliver, Ryan Harrison, Rohit Gulati, those type of characters. Not sure many people would expect or predict that Auckland would have won that game with the bowling unit they had on a very small ground and where the runs flowed. Another player to watch out for is Ryan Harrison, who's one of 3 Auckland bowlers with 10 wickets. He's third behind Olliver and Johal. And he's also a very powerful batter down the order, 66 runs, a strike rate of 157. Like the look of Ryan Harrison as an all-rounder, but these Auckland all-rounders are everywhere. except for Super Smash, because Simon Keen's only played 2 games. Jock McKenzie hasn't played 1 game. And so Ryan Harrison has overtaken them as the all-format all-rounder, and he's doing a good job. Whereas like Auckland were playing Plunkett Shield with a seam unit of Harrison, Keen, and Jock McKenzie. That's how Harrison is viewed in the Auckland setup. So watch out for Ryan Harrison, because he is creeping under the radar as a very good all-rounder for Auckland. Canterbury in that elimination final. Obviously, a lot of players here to watch out for with Canterbury. Your Tom Lathams. If you love a bit of Henry Nicholls, you can watch out for Henry Nicholls. Cole McConchie's an excellent domestic cricketer. High strike rate in this tournament, 89 runs, strike rate of 141. But he's also the leading wicket taker for Canterbury as their main spinner right now, with Ish Sodhi on Black Caps duty. You could watch out for Reece Mariu. Yeah, cool. He's got 105 runs, decent strike rate of 142. But I'm curious about Reece Mariu, what he can do in a big Super Smash game for sure. So watch out for Reece Mariu, but my attention will be on Matt Boyle, who was the leading run scorer in the Super Smash last season, and he's continued it on this season. 196 runs, second for runs at Canterbury, yes. And a good strike rate, 162. He's got 250s. Tom Latham's got 250s. That's it for Canterbury. And Mitch Hay, 57 runs, strike rate of 168, which is, yes, that is the highest strike rate for Canterbury. Yeah, they're all batters. And Mitch Hay, not a lot of, like, you would have seen him score runs on Test debut. You may not have seen, like, why would Mitch Hay be in the ODI team? Why would Mitch Hay be in the T20 team? Those aren't his like best formats, because he averages 49 in first class batting. So there's an alignment there. He's averaging 49 in first class batting, and he scored 61 runs on Test debut. This dude also has a T20 strike rate of 142 in 40 innings. He doesn't have a lot of runs because he's batting in that middle order, 6, 5. And he's only got 150 plus score in 40 innings, but he's averaging 16 with a strike rate of 142, which for his role in that Canterbury team, remember Canterbury in the Super Smash, they're usually batting, you know, Tom Latham's, your Henry Nicholls, Chad Bowes, like those dudes are always in the team. So Mitch Hay isn't left with many runs to score or many balls to face. It's his strike rate that is most important there, and that strike rate is also on show in his ODI batting, because he is averaging 31 with a strike rate of 104 in 7 ODIs. That's why Mitch Hay is in the position that he is in as the next Black Caps wicketkeeper. I had no idea who Lachlan Harper was before the Super Smash, and we always joke in our podcast that he doesn't have a full name on Cricinfo yet. He's just LLB Harper, Mr. Pounds, LB Harper, and he, in his first dose of Super Smash, has 86 runs, strike rate of 143, as well as taking 7 wickets at an average of 23. Lachlan Harper's a fantastic all-round cricketer in this format, and I'm curious whether we're going to see the trio of Lachlan Harper, Cameron Paul, and Fraser Sheet. Cameron Paul's got 8 wickets at 25, which has his average has gone up, I think, in recent games, because he hasn't taken many wickets more recently. Yeah, he's got 1 wicket in his last 3 games, but he took a lot of wickets to start the tournament, 3 wickets and 2 wickets in his first 2 games. And he's not a great smasher batter. He's a very good batter, but that's mainly taking his time, building out an innings in the Plunkett Shield. And I think that's his best format, so he's learning these T20 skills. Another player with that style is Fraser Sheet, and let me compare these 2 bowlers. Cameron Paul, obviously very young. He's only 21 years old. He has a first-class bowling average of 21.7, Fraser Sheet is a bit older, but he's a underrated cricketer, I believe. First class average 28, one day average 27, but that goes up to 32 in T20 cricket. Cameron Paul, as I said, 21.7 first class, 14.8 in just 3 one-dayers, and he's averaging 26 in T20s. So those two have made their best impressions in the longest format, and this is their opportunity to really stamp their mark as good Super Smash cricketers for Canterbury. But I don't know if we're going to see Harper, Paul and Sheet in the same team, because you might get, well, you probably will get Michael Ray in that team, and Sean Davey is a reliable domestic bowler as well. But Fraser Sheet is, I think he's only played 11 T20s. So this is like the balance of formats and how the Black Caps pipeline develops cricketers across the formats. Because someone like Reece Mariu, very similar style and record as Fraser Sheet, good in the long form, solid in the one-dayers, and only a few games in T20. But Fraser Sheet has found ways to be effective in the Super Smash this season. He's got 6 wickets at 28. I really want to see those 3 players in the same team. And given that Canterbury won't have Ish Sodhi, and I don't know if they'll be selecting Raunak Kapoor and or Michael Rippon, because Rippon's only played twice. Kapoor, very interesting offie, he's played 1 game, and they have McConchy as their best bowler. So you could have McConchy as their main spinner, and that will give you room to select Harper, Paul, Sheet, and maybe Michael Ray in the same team. But again, Davey is always a factor in that Canterbury team. Ultimately, as I waffle on, watch out for Lachlan Harper. Watch out for Cameron Paul, although he's been chilling more recently. And don't overlook Fraser Sheet, because he's also one of their most economical bowlers. He is their most economical bowler aside from Kyle Jamieson. So there you go, Fraser Sheet. Don't forget about Fraser. Then we go Northern Districts. Not as dynastic as the Wellington Blaze, but they have won a bunch of Super Smash championships recently. Katene Clarke has won Super Smash championships before, and I'm curious, like Dale Phillips, what's possible for Katene Clarke? Can he reach the Black Caps tier? And I think it's hard to put it down to 1 game, because he's been very good all season. But if he has a really good final, I think that might just push Katene Clarke into that wider Black Caps mixer, specifically for T20 cricket moving forward. But he deserves that with his season anyway. 398 runs, averaging 66, strike rate of 173. And that, it's an opening combo, but it's also their whole batting unit. Opening combo with Brett Hampton, but whole batting unit with Rob O'Donnell, Scott Kugelheim moving up and down the order. And then you've also got Xavier Bell, who has played every game as a 20-year-old. Is he 20? Is he 21? He's 19. How about that? Some of these youngsters, like Lachlan Stackpole's only 20 years old. You got these, I don't know what else there needs to be said about the young cricketing talent in Aotearoa. But watch out for Xavier Bell. He's got 3 not outs in 6 innings, 146 runs, a strike rate of 140 in his first campaign of Super Smash. And like Lachlan Stackpole, he's got more 6s than 4s. 10 6s, 8 4s. So Northern will be looking for Rob O'Donnell, Brett Hampton and Katene Clarke to score most of their runs. Scott Kugelheim's high strike rate batter, 203. And I'm curious, what positions will Xavier Bell be put in? And what role will he play? How will he perform in his first big domestic cricket game? Scott Kugelheim's the best bowler for Northern as well. Northern, though, they've got Tim Pringle, Dutch international, now Northern Brave national. He is on 9 wickets, averaging 28 as a lefty spinner. We've talked a lot about the lefty spinners. What role will Tim Pringle play? Matt Fisher might not have played recently. He's only played 7 games, so I'm curious about the status of Matt Fisher and how he could impact a finals game. He is averaging 37 in T20 bowling. He's below 27 in the other formats. And he is their third leading wicket taker behind Pringle, behind Kugelheim, 8 wickets at an average of 26. The other dude to watch out for with Northern is Zach Gibson. He's got 6 wickets averaging 12 in 3 innings. And he, unlike Fisher, is the opposite of Fisher. His best format's T20 bowling, 24.8 average. Then he's over 35 in the other 2 formats. He has been often injured in domestic cricket, but he's been awesome in his limited Super Smash appearances. And if he's available, and Fisher's available, they're the 2 best Northern seamers. So make sure you're watching out for those. If Fisher's playing, I'd be putting the microscope on him because he's already made his Test debut. And that is his best format. So what can he do in a big T20 game for the Northern Brave? And what are you going to do watching the Super Smash finals? You're just going to have a bit of fun. Watch some sixes, watch some wickets, watch some of your favourite Kiwi cricketers do their thing. But also, because it's the Super Smash Scout, watch out for these youngsters. Every team in the Super Smash finals has funky youngsters to watch out for. And they've all done something crazy already, right? They've all smashed sixes. They've all taken wickets. They've all scored runs. They've all had, moments of fielding brilliance even. So watch out for these youngsters in the Super Smash finals. But of course, there's a lot of really good domestic cricketers on the show. So if you love your cricket, if you love Aotearoa, tap in. And then later on, you can tune out. How about that? Big up to you. Chur, chur.